Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our dear viewers, a very warm welcome to you all. As we were mentioning in our last episode, we were discussing some of the aspects and some of the approaches towards Hajj itself and its conditions in particular. And so, like I always say, we are doing this journey together. And I thank you for tuning in today on Sophia TV on this special episode of the philosophy and practices of Hajj. Now, today's topic with our dear respected scholar is to do with the money itself that a person uses to go to Hajj. Because what we tend to think is that we can just save or get money from anywhere. But there's a very important point, inshallah, that we will ask our dear respected scholar to elaborate for us. And so without further delay, I would like to welcome our dear respected scholar, Syed Ali Raza Rizvi, to the show. Dear Syed, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I hope you're well today.
Thank you.
Dear Syed, without any further ado, today's topic, we would like to discuss briefly the financial means a person has and the income, the source of income to go to Hajj itself. In this respect, I would like to ask you a very broad question. Do I have to pay khums and zakat?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is extremely important that we look at our sources of income. And once we make sure that we are earning halal, which is permissible, then only then we can use that money to go to Hajj.
Yes.
Secondly, we have to make sure that we have paid the dues which are obligatory upon us from God on the amount that we will be using for Hajj.
Yes.
Now, there are certain things upon which zakat is wajib, and there are certain things on which khums is wajib. And if zakat is your obligation, then you must pay zakat before utilizing the money to go to Hajj. Now, I must explain that. Zakat or khums, either. So if a person has to pay khums, now, many people don't on regular basis pay khums or zakat.
Yes.
And because they want to go to Hajj, they want clean money, so they can use that for Hajj.
Yes.
So they must pay khums to use the money to go to Hajj. But people who pay khums on regular basis, they every year have a fixed date. On this date, they pay khums.
Yes.
Upon them is not wajib to pay khums on the Hajj money.
Okay.
Because Hajj or Umrah or Ziyarat is amongst the annual expenses. And you don't have to pay khums on the annual expenses.
I see.
So the people who on regular basis pay khums and their khums date has not arrived, then they have to not pay khums on the amount they are using for Hajj.
So for example, if I'm saving for the past year, I've paid my other dues, but for Hajj specifically, I have a special account or a fund and I'm putting money into it. Would that count as my expenses then?
But if you are saving up for Hajj
Yes.
for some years,
Yeah.
then you will have to
Then
pay
it-
khums.
Okay.
But if you happen to have earned enough
Yes.
after your khums date, before the next khums date,
Yes.
Hajj comes, then on that amount you don't have to pay khums,
Okay. I see.
according to
I
the
see.
society. And you can go to Hajj with that money without paying khums.
Okay. Because that's a very crucial point. I've heard of a lot of people, they just save and they say, no, I count this as my expenses. It's been many years. But as you mentioned rightly, that no, khums must be paid if it's year upon year upon year.
Yes.
Okay. And in this respect, there, Syed, if a person has usurped money, God forbid, or stolen money, again, what's the rulings in that respect? Can they use that to go to Hajj? Even if it's not the whole amount, just mixed some amount?
In a simple and straightforward answer, no, you cannot use that money. Unfortunately, the money for Hajj, in fact, for the clothing you're going to be buying, for the prayers, in fact, for the water you will be buying for your ablution and your ritual bathing,
Yes.
it all has to be from clean and halal money, permissible money.
Yes.
If the money is not permissible because of either, God forbid, stolen money or usurp, you've taken someone's right, you've stolen the land and sold it off, or for whatever reasons, God forbid,
Yes.
that money is not clean and halal for you. That money is not permissible for you to utilize.
Okay.
And therefore you cannot use that for Hajj.
Okay, I see. And I'm sorry to be asking this, they say it, but I've heard this quite a lot in the communities that some people, they, God forbid, have unlawful means of income. But what they say is that we'll just pay khums on this and make it pure again. And then they use that for their dues. Again, is this allowed?
This is again not permissible. Unfortunately, people have confused this whole term of al-halal mukhtalit bil-haram. That when you have halal and haram money, then you pay a khums on it. No, that's not a legal way of making the haram halal.
Yes.
The obligations of khums, we will discuss that at the time, does not make your money halal.
Yes.
You have to make sure that the money you will be using for Hajj is purely halal money, permissible money.
Yes, yes. So there's no shortcuts to the side that you can take in this term.
No, unfortunately, you will not be able to have easy way out of it. So say that, okay, I don't mind. I have some money that I've taken from my brothers and sisters. For example, you've inherited money
Yes.
from father or grandfather,
Yes.
and your brothers and sisters also have a share in it.
Yes.
You cannot just pick up that money and say, okay, because it is inheritance money, it is permissible money.
Yes.
You have to get authorization from the other waratha, the other inheritors.
Yes.
They all have to authorize you to use that money.
Mm-hmm.
And until and unless they authorize you and say, no, we do not forgive you our share, you are not allowed to use that money until they allow you. And you can only use your share.
I see. And does that, in terms of the inheritance point you just made now, which is also very important, does the authorization have to be by tongue or by writing or?
Written authorization is not a necessary requirement in the Sharia.
Yes.
It is only in certain places requirement, for example, in a business deal.
Yes.
But generally, so long as they verbally allow you, permit you,
Yes.
Then it is sufficient.
Okay, I see. Thank you once more, Syed, for that beautiful explanation. The next question in this respect is, if someone has, he's able to go to Hajj, he's not financially capable, but someone gives him a donation that you can use this, I give it to you free of any obligation, you can use this to go to Hajj. Is that allowed?
This is called in Arabic Hajj al-Badli. For example, a person gives you a gift, you don't have to accept
Yes.
the gift, but if you do accept it and it is sufficient for you to cover the Hajj expenses, then the Hajj becomes wajib. If you accept it, then the Hajj becomes wajib upon you to perform, and your Hajj will be counted as the wajib Hajj in a lifetime, according to Hazrat Zani. But I am under no obligation to accept a gift from someone for the Hajj to become wajib. But if I do accept it, then my Hajj, which is wajib according to Sharia, will be performed, and I will have fulfilled my obligation.
And that money, just to specify for our dear viewers, that money has to be used for the Hajj. It can't be used for anything else.
If a person gives you the money for Hajj, then the money has to be used for Hajj. Many times, I also, because I may take this opportunity to explain, many times, people give donations or specify that this is for a particular thing.
Yes.
Because the money is not yours, you're only a person responsible for the money.
Yes.
Then it has to be used in where the person donating the money has specified it.
Okay, I see. Thank you once more, dear Syed. Just moving on towards the final question for our show today. What are some examples of stolen money? Because some people tend to think stolen money is just like, God forbid, you rob a bank or something. But there are many other forms of stealing money. Could you just specify some for our viewers?
It is very important to understand that sometimes you are buying ihram, for example, and in many countries people like to bargain. In many cultures, bargaining is a common practice,
Yes.
although it is discouraged in Islam, that a person should specify a price and should specify the same price for everyone. What happens is that you're buying the ihram, which is the wajib part of Hajj.
Yes.
And a person says the price is 100 riyals, for example.
Yes.
And you say, well, I will pay 80. He says, no, I want 100. So you pick up the ihram and you say, no, here is 80, and you take it. and the person does not accept your deal, or is under pressure because you have forced him to make a deal,
Yes.
then that may not be legal for you to do and use for ihram.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that the person accepts your offer, that I will buy it for it. He says, no, I will not sell it for less than 90. You must pay the 90 riyals for the ihram to become halal upon you to use.
Okay.
So, and there may be other specifications. It is not only just that you steal money,
Yes.
but anything that you take unlawfully. For example, a person employs you and says that you must do 10 hours of a shift for this money to be halal upon you.
Yes.
And you've only done an 8-hour shift,
Yes.
but you've still taken the money for the 10 hours.
Yes.
The 2 hours that you've taken the money for is not permissible for you,
Yes.
because you have not fulfilled the hours of the shift.
Yes.
And there may be many, many examples of that. Likewise, in many other business dealings,
Yes.
where a person takes advantage of their position, or makes a misuse of their position by taking the money from a person or from an individual or a company
Yes.
unlawfully. All of that is unlawful. It doesn't have to be money from alcohol or some forbidden act.
Yes.
It can be money from halal act, but taken unlawfully. Even that is not permissible for you to use.
Okay. Wow. I'm sure our dear viewers found that very beneficial, like I have, because the traditional sense we were taught growing up in this country is that stealing is just one form. But as you just specified, that if you misuse your position or don't fulfill an obligation, that also counts as stolen or unlawful money. And certainly it cannot be used for Hajj, as you just explained, dear Syed. Sadly, that brings us to the end of the show for today. Thank you once more, dear Syed, for taking your time out to clarify certain issues for us and our dear viewers. Dear viewers, once more, thank you also for viewing the show. Inshallah, we will join you in our next episode, where we're going to focus specifically on performing Hajj on behalf of others. Until then, please remember us in your du'as. On this episode of the philosophy and practices of Hajj. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.